Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Technical Steering Committee meeting from the EVerest project. Quick introduction. We have to show you this antitrust policy in the beginning. We'll first do a quick pass down what happened and what's new, and then in the end, we can have a conversation on some free exchange, and we won't record that. So, quick recap. What's EVerest? We are still the interface of the Linux Foundation Energy ecosystem to the car edge. So we want to connect all energy-related things and car-related things with each other and running as firmware on EV chargers. There are different players to this industry who all want to build chargers and all want to somehow connect to this ecosystem. So it's really fragmented and a lot of isolated solutions. And all of them trying to implement the same standards, but in the end of the day, you have incompatible software, you're spending way too much money, and we think we can solve that with open source, with EVerest. And as I said, this software will run within the charge point, so it's a highly customizable solution. You can do everything from DC to AC charging, from solar integration, energy management, corporate charging, whatever you imagine. So we had quite some discussions over the last weeks of a lot of new ideas I've never heard before, what people want to do with charging. And yeah, basically in a nutshell, these are the different edges we try to connect: electric grid, home batteries, other consumptions like heat pumps I heard yesterday, local chargers, all the cars, cloud payment solutions, different apps, and all the energy exchanges like price forecast, solar forecast. And why are we doing that this way? We're not inventing a new standard, because standards are just part of the game, but they're not the solution. So instead of creating new standards, we're just getting sure that the, let's say, 14 existing standards get implemented in a proper way. And quick commercial break. We have a reference charger design, which will be released in summer. We already take pre-orders where you can get really easy and quickly started with EVerest stations. And yeah, if you want to know more about that, please ping us, and we will have the pre-order and opening soon. So what's new? Let's hand over to Cornelius.
Hi, so yeah, let's have a brief look on what happened in the last 4 weeks since the last TSC meeting. So for the OCPP stack that we have, we basically added extended support for smart charging profile. We added the reservations and local authorization lists. We added the management and firmware management functionality to the stack. So basically the 1.6 JSON is more or less fully implemented right now. And we're currently working on testing it with the OCA compliance test tool and making sure we're fixing everything so that it's fully compliant with the OCA standards. And for everyone who's visiting the Plugfest in June in the Netherlands, we will be there as well. So happy to see you there. Yeah, in the framework that's holding EVerest together, basically, we did some changes as well. The modules are now individual binaries instead of shared libraries as they were before. That simplifies a lot of things and basically prepares us for a simpler capabilities management for Linux capabilities to ensure that, for example, not every module needs root, needs to run as a root user right now, but we can basically set specific capabilities to access the network interface or something, which improves security of the stack quite a bit. Yeah, on the ISO 15118 side, we refactored the internal interface, and it's much more nicer now. And we started to implement ISO support also in the software in the loop car simulation. So the goal will be that you can run full software in the loop simulations, not only with AC PWM charging as it is now, but also with ISO high-level communication for AC as well as DC in the future. And for ISO, we'll also be at the Charin Festival in Poland in June, end of June. So yeah, if you're there, also happy to work with you there. On the energy management side, we added a new feature for optimization for prices if you have a variable pricing contract. So there's a couple of providers right now, at least in Germany, that offer different prices every hour. And we can now optimize the charging according to fixed prices as well. And what we're working right now is we're trying to reintegrate the solar optimization. We had that before, but then when we re-architectured the whole energy management, we kind of dropped that because it was written in the old energy framework kind of, and we're about to reintegrate that now into the new architecture. On the config UI, there were quite some improvements. There was some background tasks going on, like rewriting the drawing stuff onto an HTML5 canvas. And we also now added the controller service to the framework that kind of acts as the backend for the config UI, so that the config UI actually really gets all the data from EVerest, and you can really manage modules already. So it's not done yet, but we're making quite good progress there. Yeah, the roadmap is, we have a lot of things on the roadmap. The web user interface you just saw is one of the high priorities, as well as the backend integration. So as I already mentioned, we're almost done with the OCPP 1.6, but there's still some things to do there, and then we'll probably move on to OCPP 2.01 at some point as well. We're always trying to test with as many cars as possible, and for the ESO stack, if everything is working there now, we're still planning to do a rewrite of that in C++ to get rid of the Java dependency, and also include for the older DIN spec 7121 as well as the new 1511 8-20. And we also have the plan to do some more grid integration with ADR and USEF, as well as some more smart home integration with protocols like EEBus, or controlling SG-ready heatings and stuff like that. And the idea is always to port it to as many hardwares as possible. So if you have a new hardware that you would like to see EVerest on, just contact us, and I'm sure we'll find a way to port it there. So that's about it.
Yeah, then thanks a lot. For those who are watching the recording afterwards, we'll put some links how you can contact the EVerest team under the YouTube video. And you will see us again in about 4 weeks. And yeah, see you there.